this area for you.
Yeah, or just that he has the advantage that he knows what's going on. Because confusion is something I wish they would use more.
Yeah.
Because I heard people saying that, like, if in a home invasion situation, you should have the advantage because you know the layout, and anything on the floor without them turning on the lights would be to your advantage.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It would just be cooler if things are more realistic. Because I never seen like John Wick like mess with like a electrical breaker or something to like shut off all the power in the place that he was at, which seems like something he could totally be able to do. Like, just put one, like, if you're not worried about like the police, just put a grenade in like the electrical box and then have like night vision goggles and just be like fucking night vision all the time. Like, because those are real tools that exist. Like, you don't have to have any science fiction weapons or superpowers or anything just to have a little bit of advantage. Like, something I think about doing, which is scary, is have you heard of the Anunnaki village in Japan?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Are you saying that you'd want to go into it?
I'm saying if we could get guns and night vision goggles, we could go in there.
I would want to go in there for sure.
I don't want to go in there without nothing. I'm scared.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I'd rather be eaten by a bear than having to deal with whatever it might be in it. Well, fucking they eat people, apparently.
Well, I'll tell you this. I always wanted to do, this is kind of related, but it reminded me. I've always wanted to do urban exploration, but I'll try to link you some videos of this guy, but this guy's YouTube channel is like fucking good for finding like really scary stuff, like I'm tired of these videos where it's just like, oh my gosh, urban exploration, you hear a sound. This guy, he did an urban exploration video, and or he found an urban exploration video, and he found someone like in an abandoned kind of like warehouse, like the mine, like when we went to the mines.
Yeah.
And he said that this guy was just like doing this and crouched down, and it was in like not Philadelphia, but an urban place, and you could hear gunshots, like there was a gun battle happening. And he seen this crackhead dude, and the guy was like trying to talk to him, no response.
I've seen that one.
Yeah,
and then he's leaving and he sees him again, but he doesn't notice, like he's in the frame.
Well, he was like, I'm gonna go give him some money, and he goes back, and that guy's gone.
Yeah, and then he turns around, and then when he's trying to leave, he sees him like walking around the entrance.
Yeah, but he doesn't notice him, so it's like, I would want to do shit like that, but I would want like a gun and a knife for sure.
Well, the thing about that is shooting a gun in an area like that's real echoey could hurt our ears really bad, and I don't want to wear hearing protection when you have to hear what the fuck's going on. I've also heard one that this guy, he went into this room and he pulled back a curtain and there was a guy right behind the curtain. He was hiding.
He
yelled just like, ah! And just fucking scared the shit out of him and he ran. So like I don't know if that's something that these guys know, because I'm not sure if there's like a community of like homeless people who like live in there.
Yeah.
Or squatters, whatever you want to call them. And if they know that they scare people who urban explore.
I think he did. The guy that pulled the curtain, I think he knew he would scare that dude.
Yeah, so I think they have that to their advantage. Also, they know the layout, and I'm assuming they wouldn't really care about killing you. And it's not like maybe they won't have a gun, but I feel like they'd have a knife or something, or just I think they could just like tackle you or something. I know they don't have like fucking night vision or something, but when you're holding a flashlight and recording, you're kind of preoccupied and pretty vulnerable. Like I don't know how to respond if like I lose the flashlight.
I would want to carry one of them big ones that you could beat someone with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dad has one of those.
Oh yeah.
Or like the ones that when they're trying to get out of the house and they forget where they are. Like they can't run out of the house when they get scared fast enough.
Well, there was one that I seen like that, and the guy went into the house, and there's someone in it, like living in it, or doing something in there, and he was like, "All right, I'm just exploring. I'll leave," and it was like really weird.
I also think that being too like skittish when you're seeing somebody, or being too skittish when you're entering and like you're making noise like, oh, that's freaky or something like that, would make them think that you're on edge and that you could be scared.
Oh yeah.
And that they could scare you or like intimidate you, because like, I mean, it is like a horror movie scene. Seeing like a disheveled person in an abandoned house is pretty scary.
Yeah.
But like, they're still human. Like, and like I don't think they'll be like in great physical shape unless they're like currently on meth or something.
Yeah. Works out. You know what he does? He does 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups.
No, you know, it would be really funny that you're doing an urban exploration. You open a door and there's just like pristine gym equipment.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you turn around, it's just like the buffest like fucking like squatter crackhead you've ever seen. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's just in there just working out for free constantly.
Okay, because you said working out for free, it reminded me of David Goggins, and somebody brought up the point that like David Goggins is kind of a sham just because how he's like he makes it he's always like, oh, you need to be working out, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, I fucking hate this and I hate that, but I still do it. But it's like, you know, working out is pretty fun actually. You know, so this idea of like, it sucks dick, but you gotta do it. It's like, you know, if all I had to do was just work out, you know, that would be kind of like just awesome, you know? Yeah. So, you know, his idea of like, you know, working out fucking sucks and you're gonna be tired, this and that. It's like, you know, it just kind of doesn't make sense. It's like motivation for people that, don't like working out, aren't into working out, you know?
Well, what's weird about his workouts is like the only workout I think he does that's useful is the running. Like
I agree with you on that. Well, I'll
like the 1,000 pull-ups or like like shit like that. Like you're just destroying your body.
Well,
and like
yeah. About that, I was gonna say it seems like David Goggins has like a self-harm asphyxiation or something like that. Like it seems like he likes self-harming, but rather than cutting himself, it's just like these, you know, rigorous workouts, you know?
Yeah, well, his first marathon stories were really insane.
Yeah.
Like his heart was failing or liver was failing or something, and continuing doing that is pretty commendable.
Yeah.
And obviously Navy SEAL, all that, the Hell Week or whatever, that's really impressive too.
Well, I'll tell you this, like he said that he peed blood. If I peed blood, I'd probably, have you ever watched the movie Sybil?
Sybil. It sounds familiar.
Multiple personalities.
Oh, the woman who got tortured.
Yeah. Well, you know, when it got to the part where it was like,
fuck.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
When that happened, I was like,
yeah,
I was like, the tunnel vision was bad, and I went pale, and I was about to pass out.
I watched it in psychology class.
Me too.
With Mr. Armijo or Arrington.
Arrington, yeah.
Yeah, that was. I remember hearing people like not being able to withstand the information. Like they had to ask the teacher, like, is it true that she was that badly scarred down there?
Yeah. Well,
and yeah.
I'll tell you this. I think I might have told you this before, but there was a time where I was young, and you know, blah 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 happened, and as a result, I got like a urine infection, and I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was pretty young, but I pissed, and the blood came out, and I almost like fucking. And we were camping, but I almost like fell back, like passed out. You know, just fucking. Like when he talks about like running and then the peeing blood, I just think that I'd probably see it, get like 4 steps, pass out, and then just fall on my face, you know?
Yeah.
Just dead, you know, knocked out before you even hit the ground.
Yeah, like I don't know how it feels like to like run to death, because the thing, my experience with running is that because I have asthma, my airway is always given out before my lungs. Like
Yeah.
even if it's not severe, it's always like the lack of air I'm getting that makes me tired, and not really my legs.
Uh-huh.
Unless I take like turmeric or something before I run, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But like when I used to run like long distance in like middle school, it was always my lungs. So like I don't know how to run yourself to organ failure would feel like, or like dehydration. Like was he even like, I know they have like waters that they drink,
Yeah.
and they to keep themselves hydrated. I don't know if it was something like with that he was just so dehydrated, or what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But like also there's a difference between training to be physically fit and then training to build mental toughness, and I think he wants to build mental toughness.
Yeah.
And like that's what the 1,000 pull-ups, 1,000 push-ups, all that shit, like
Yeah.
like you're not leaving until you do this, like your mind's what's limiting you.
Yeah.
All that stuff is not to build muscle, it's to build
It's
mental
to build
endurance,
brain.
to build a brain. Your brain
Well,
expands. That's what he said.
I was gonna say, I've never been into running or anything like that, but the only times I ran was like, I wanted to run for the police test, and I calculated how far you needed to run, and it was basically like from my house to Stripes. You needed to just run that far, so that's what I'd do. I'd sprint it as fast as I could, and I'd go around the block. I'd go, I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something, maybe I'm not, but I'd run one way around the block, and then I'd run the other way, as to not get one leg stronger than the other going in a continuous circle. Like, because your inside leg, so I run both ways.
Yeah, I remember that being a concern that I had too, the inside leg, but
Well,
I never corrected it. I never ran the opposite way.
Well, I think it's good to have that thought because it shows that you're serious, But I the best that I got was I was able to run one continuous loop without stopping, and then one continuous loop the other way without stopping, and then I'd run, like two more, like basically like 4 times on either side, but I could only do like just one loop without stopping, and then the other times it'd be like run, quarter of the way, stop, rest, quarter of the way, stop, rest. But those are the only times, and my lungs would, like you're saying, the lungs give out before your legs and anything like that. But nothing ever happened, like nothing bad like David Goggins. But the time where something like David Goggins did happen was helping bale hay on the farm. You get paid like $10 an hour, you work 5 hours, and all it is grab the hay, put it down, grab the hay, put it down. And the lightest ones are 60 pounds, and the heavy ones are 80 pounds. So it's like 60, 80, 60, 80, and it's kind of that fast, because they're like, so there's a hay bale at the beginning of this carport, in the middle, and then at the end. That's how far they're spread out. And you gotta grab it, put it down, hop on the trailer. If the trailer is high, you gotta grab the hay bale and put it up high. And I remember, I worked for like about 4 hours, and after like maybe like the first hour or so, I was like spitting out blood. It was like crazy, and I could like taste the blood. Like I could taste it in the back of my throat and on the back of my tongue, and when I spat, the blood would come out. And that was the only time where it was just like, oh my gosh, this is like literally killing me.
I never worked my body that hard. I can't remember.
Well, it just feels like you're out of breath or real tired, but it like creeps up on you,
I don't know. I've worked myself to pretty extreme exhaustions.
Yeah.
But maybe not so intensely quick like that. Like with the combat, or not combat. I guess combat training sounds like special forces or something.
Yeah.
But like with like the MMA conditioning things,
Yeah.
those things really tire me out. But I've never felt like I was gonna like start coughing up blood.
Yeah. I never felt like that either. I'll tell you this. I only did this twice before I realized, like, I'm gonna fucking, like, embarrass myself. But I would do my weight workout, the full thing, and then go to karate. And I did it the first time, and I was all right. I was just like dead tired the whole time, like probably could have just done that, and I would have fallen over. And then I did it the second time. The legs are everything,
Yeah.
And I worked out for like maybe like 3 or 4 hours before going to the karate place. Maybe less because I was a bit more fit. But when I was at the karate place, I was doing push-ups, and then like I went blind. Like it was just black, and I was like still doing them. And then I just like laid down on the ground, and my vision came back.
I remember when I was working at Walmart. It was probably like the worst fucking time of my life.
Oh yeah.
Just because I had to be there at 4, and
Yeah.
I'd get out of practice at like 10, so I'd have like 3 hours of sleep
Jeez.
every night, and sometimes even less than that. Sometimes I'd stay up, just energy, because in Walmart you have like infinite amounts of energy drinks and shit like that. So like on my breaks I could just ask, or just whenever I could just ask like, hey, can I go get an energy drink? And then I'm working in a freezer.
Yeah.
Just organizing it,
Yeah.
trying to keep myself awake, and then I'd come back from practice.
He'd come.
Come, he's coming. I'm about to come.
I'm gonna come.
And I'd come back from work at like 1. I think we'd leave
Yeah.
at 1, and then I have practice at 7. So I tried to either nap until I had practice or stay up. And one
Yeah.
time I stayed up, because if I napped, then it's hard for me to sleep right after practice.
Yeah.
And then I tried to stay up to go to practice after. And when I got there, I was just my back was sore, and I was like incoherent. And I feel like I was seeing like yellow or something.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't move properly, and I couldn't understand like anything that was going on around me. And yeah, which is it's so weird because I don't know what conditions lead to people being like super active, like,
Yeah.
because I hear people like going through, like, if you hear like war stories and you hear that people are like super like dedicated, and they could go through like really traumatic events and still continue to go and not be tired, and like they go like 20 hours without sleep or something crazy like that. Like obviously
Yeah.
it's a more intense situation, but how can I like is there a way to unlock that in everyday life? Or like what would be the consequences of like what if I like my regular day was like 20 hours no sleep, 2 hours sleep, and then like 20 hours no sleep, like just working a job, and then practicing, and then enjoying my free time? Like
Yeah.
what's the limit that people could do without taking like supplements or something?
Well, I mean, the only time I've ever unlocked anything like that was from my house right now. I had insomnia, like real bad at the time, and I'd sleep for like maybe 4 hours, and then I'd wake up and I'd walk all the way to Denny's, and I would be like about to pass out tired walking there.
Yeah.
And then, you sit down, you eat at Denny's for like an hour or 2 hours, and then it's like, well, shit, I gotta go home now. And that was like, it was, about when you get to, from Denny's to that one place, like the dog place, basically across the street at
the dog wash?
yeah, okay, so like from Denny's, and then you walk down the street and you get to like that bank across the street where the bank is at.
Yeah.
About that distance, right? So not even that far. It was like, I just want to go to bed, like pass out, go to bed. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna really just sleep on the side of the road? Impossible. So that was the only time where it was like I'd force myself, like, get home, and then you're so like you lay down, and it's strange because you're so tired that you can't even go to sleep. Like you force yourself to stay awake so bad that like you lay down and your eyes like
it's just like spinning.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like just swirling feeling.
Yeah, that was the only time where it was like my body was like pushed all the way. Or I used to walk all the way from work to my house now, and it would be wintertime, and that's when it was cold. This winter is just like a chilly summer, but I walked from there all the way home, and sometimes I would, like, at work, I'd be like,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like that, and then I walked home in the cold, and it was like just fucking, I was ready to pass out when I crossed the street, just going from work to like where El Jimador is at, I would be ready to just go to bed, and I walked all the way home, and then I made it home, and my hands were like purple, and like my face was red, and I was just like in front of the heater, and then I probably slept for like, I think I got home maybe at like 6 or 7, and I slept all the way, into the next day.
Wow.
But that's the only times I could think of that where it's just like, you gotta, to push yourself is like, there's no way that you're gonna sleep on a bench, like if you have a place, like a house to sleep in, and you walked all the way across town, like, for sure you're gonna walk back home,
I think the most I've ever done that was when I broke my hand swimming, which sounds hilarious.
What the fuck? That's how it happened?
I mean, I broke my hand during a swimming competition, but I didn't like hit it on the water.
Yeah.
I swam, and I was gonna do the flip turn at the end to come back, and I missed it. So when I pushed my legs hit nothing. So I had no push. So I just fucked myself. I don't know how true this was, but I felt like I was in the lead, and then after I missed the flip turn, there was no way I was gonna be in the lead.
Yeah.
So I just hit the wall as hard as I could, and then it broke the 5th bone in my hand. And I thought it was just a bruise. I didn't know it was broken, but I swam like that was my first event, and I swam like 5 more events after that with a broken hand. And I still don't really know how I did it, because the whole time I was like, oh, this is just a bruise. I was just soaking it in ice.
Yeah.
And then when I was in practice, I was like, oh, it's just a bruise. And then I got checked out. I was like, oh yeah, that shit's like cracked and it's like loose in your hand. And I could feel it like every time
leaking.
every time I could close my hand, I could hear like a like a little, like it would like move.
Yeah.
And I thought that was normal somehow. And it was really weird because everybody was like, how were you just living with a broken bone in your hand? Like it took you a week to get it checked out to find out it was broken, like you couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, I thought it was like, I didn't want to cast. I had state in like a week.
Yeah.
And it was just like riding hurt. I lost grip strength. It was just a constant pain. I still have a loss of grip strength in that hand, which fucking sucks because now I'm doing mechanic work. I can't jerk off anymore. It ruined my life. But yeah, it was just like that. I guess that's the only thing. But that's not really like intense, like endurance. That's more like just like pain tolerance.
Yeah.
But like I've never like. I remember walking home, but never in like severe conditions. Like I remember walking all the way from the high school to my house over there, like in Sunnyview.
Oh wow!
Yeah, okay. I remember walking all the way over there because I didn't have a phone and the school was closed. Like my mom dropped me off because swimming practice was happening, but they canceled it because something happened to somebody's family member. So they canceled it, and I just like, okay, I don't have a phone. I'm just gonna walk back, and I didn't want to ask anybody for their phone.
Yeah.
And then I just walked all that distance until I got home.
Yeah.
And which isn't crazy. Like it's not inhuman distance. It's just, I mean, maybe for like a teenager, yeah.
Yeah.
But
now that I'm thinking about it, another one, it was like winter time and it was raining, and I was at the college, and while it was, it was afterwards and we had to go home, and it was raining, and it was probably, I don't know, it felt like, at the time it felt like 20 degrees, but that's impossible. It's probably like 40 degrees or maybe 30 something,
Yeah.
But it was cold as fuck, and it was raining, and I walked from the college to my house now, which is not far at all, but just walking, it was like you know, in the Terminator 2, when he freezes
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he gets shot. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was gonna freeze to death or something. And what do you call it? It was just, you know, really, really cold rain. It was really bad. And oh yeah, when I got home, I was soaked. It was like I'd been swimming or something in clothes.
Wow.
But it was, you know, pretty rigorous.
There was one time I almost fucking died.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think about this. I think it was just a bad time, so I just shut off my memory of that moment.
Yeah.
But I remember that those dirt trails I went to when my car got stuck.
Yeah,
when my car got stuck. How I originally got there was it was raining and I was feeling upset.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do something like physical. And I went out to these trails and my car got stuck. And instead of calling for help immediately or letting people know I was there, I was going to walk around in the rain and the mud with just like a muscle shirt on.
Yeah.
Like just to feel like the cold and the wet.
Yeah.
And I remember just walking around just like screaming like a madman.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing people look at me and they were like worried about me because I was basically unclothed. And they could hear me screaming, and I was just like, I was just trying to like break and throw as much stuff that was on my path as I was going, and then every once in a while I would calm down, and like there's actually some really cool plants over there.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a deer, and it was just not really heavy rain, but like the sky was completely gray.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I lost my way.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like it's gonna get dark soon. How do I get back to my car if I can't see the roads and there's no map and there's no waypoints? And I won't survive the night. I'm fucking drenched and I'm unclothed.
Yeah.
And I just walked towards like this light, and it was like an oil field thing or something over there. And a business. I was thinking, okay, this is my plan B. Like there might be like some night guard or something there if I can't find the road that leads to my car.
Yeah.
To get my phone and then call for help. Then I'll go over there, and I think I could go over there because it looks like that's like a 24-hour fucking thing. Like it looks like a plant.
Yeah.
And I just kept walking towards the city. I was like, okay, I'll walk towards the city because I know there's a big road right next, like, you know, that big road. I think it's Standpipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that big road. I'll find that road, and if I have to go through Bramble, I'll go through Bramble. At least I won't be dead. And I just kept walking there, and I found like kind of like a path, and then I found this like map spot to tell you where you are and where I'm at. I was like, oh shit, I found it. And then I started like just fucking running, and I was thinking like I shouldn't run because if I twist my fucking ankle, I'm dead. If I break my ankle and I'm lost and I'm just hurt and wandering around and I'm cold, I'll either pass out from exhaustion or freeze to death, or both.
Yeah.
And I was able to find my car, and I was like, holy shit, I done it. And then I fucking turned on my car. I wasn't even gonna try to get out because like I got stuck coming in, so there's no way I'm gonna fucking get out, and I don't want to get my car stuck even more.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for it to dry. And I called my cousin with the truck, and then he brought me out. And I never told anybody why I went out there. And everybody just thought I was crazy. Which, I mean, yeah, that's a crazy thing to do, but they didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And it was just like a really weird situation because I called them and was like, hey, I'm stuck in mud. And they thought I just went mudding in a fucking Toyota Camry. But I was like, no, that's not why I went out there. But I wasn't going to explain to them. I just need help.
Yeah.
And then, like, they drove me home. And then they drove me back to the apartment. And then that's when I told you, hey, I need help getting my car out.
Yeah.
And then that's when we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, like, I could have died. I could have died then.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody would be out there until the rain cleared up.
I can't remember, but Devil's Hall, I think it was either when I was with you or I might have gone there by myself.
That's crazy.
But no, I don't think I went there by myself. I think
we went together.
Yeah, I think I went to the cave by myself, and I was crawling through the cave, and it was like maybe like 12, and that was kind of like one of those things where it was like gotta get home, you know?
Yeah, don't die.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that guy who went missing in the Guadalupes?
Nuh-uh.
It was an old guy. He was like 60 or something.
Yeah.
Or 65. I'm gonna say old, senior. And over 55 for sure.
Yeah.
And he went out there alone. I guess he was off his meds, which I don't think matters. But I think that's why he was called in as a missing person sooner.
He takes the meds and teleports.
Oh, I'm lost. When they find him, he was like, I was shooting intergalactic blanks.
Yeah. You know, it's fucking crazy. I got Mia to watch that.
Oh, wow.
Me. Yeah. She was like crocheting, or not crocheting, but knitting, I guess. It's like the two needles. And you're doing it with the fabric, yeah.
Well, that's funny. A girl I'm talking to does that too.
Yeah. Well, good. You know, it's a good sign.
Yeah, she's kind of like the main girl I'm talking to.
Yeah, good. Well, you know, I was gonna say about Mia is like it's one of those things where like the child was unplanned, but it happened with like the best possible person, like, you know, submissive and breedable female.
Okay, that's yeah, that's exactly. It's weird to say this, but that's exactly how I feel with this girl. Her name is Maddie. Yeah, she's in Oklahoma, unfortunately. But
well, you know,
it's not a big deal. It's just I just gotta travel to visit her. But,
yeah.
But if I'm married anytime soon, it'll be because of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where, like, you know how you showed me the picture where it's like the wild guy.
Yeah.
And like the normal girl, that's basically how it is. But you know, I'm still that guy. But I've figured out how to just hide it better. You know,
Yeah,
like I guess that's, you know, the best way to describe it, because it's like you still have all the same attitudes and everything, but you're like, you know, I can't be autistic as much as I would want to
well,
be.
I don't live with her, so like I just gotta turn it down whenever we're calling each other or something.
Yeah.
Or video calling, like. Yeah.
Well, you know, usually when we're out in public, I'm like, "Hey, check it out, nigga," and she's like, "What?" like it's like a sweet woman, and then like just this like
weirdo guy.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little weird because I think she's more vulgar than I am when it comes to racism. And she's a white girl, so she would say like nigger and like beaner and stuff like that, and she'll make jokes about like Hitler and like it's like. I could say dark humor stuff, but I've never met somebody who could say a girl who could say such humor like so wildly.
What is it? Mia, she's like an anime girl or something, like, you know, really proper, doesn't do anything, like, doesn't cuss or anything like that. Around like Mike and stuff like that, but or around people, but around me she cusses, but it's like you don't expect it. It's just like, oh, that's sweet, you know, like
I know what you mean. I can't think of a word for it, but like it's like a like for me, I'd never really cuss around my mother.
It's
kind of like just something you change when you're with a person that you like, or that you're comfortable with, or that you respect.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always like, you know, usually I say something like, I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, well, you know, it's good to have a girl that's into, you know, like knitting or whatever. Like, you know, when I first met Mia, it was like, she could cook, she could clean, and she's into girl stuff and isn't weird and is like, proper, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, perfect, you know. That was it. And oh yeah, what was it? I think I told her, I took her to Hippie Cave, and I was like, all right, this is like the first time we met, and I was like, all right, we're here to ghost hunt or like find a dead body, or like I just told her all this fucked up shit. She was like, wow.
She wasn't pregnant when this happened, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. When I got her pregnant, you know, after I've known her for like about maybe like 2 years.
Oh.
maybe a year and some change, you know.
Yeah.
But what is it? It's one of those things where like you know, around you, like she'd never cuss around you or like
In public?
Yeah, or in public.
Or like in public loudly?
No, not at all. I mean, but when she's with me, it's just like, you know, she cusses and does stuff like that.
Yeah. What were we talking about before this? Before the crocheting and before...
Oh, yeah, okay, so David Goggins,
I was saying something.
No, I'm kidding.
That was way
Fuck.
back.
Yeah,
Almost dying?
Intergalactic Blanks.
Yeah, and you said you convinced me to do that.
Yeah, I convinced her to listen to it, and she was like knitting or whatever, and I was just putting coins in coin rolls.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean,
That's old.
Yeah.
That's some old nigga activity.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, holy shit, it's actually good for, like, you know, I've been like, you know, it's got a buffalo. 1970.
That's old. That's fucking old shit.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing, but holy shit, dude, like, I just been saving the change, and I've already saved probably, like, fucking, like, $200 or $300, and I've been only doing it for, like, maybe, like, 5 months.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just crazy amount of money.
That's like $50 a month.
Yeah.
Oh. That's as much as my OnlyFans also.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
Finally, something to do with my money.
But what I was saying before is that guy who got lost in the Guadalupe.
Yeah. Sorry.
He forgot to take his medication, and I guess that's why they reported him missing so early. But he did go off track, or he got distracted by like some girls, which was weird.
Yeah.
I guess he found 2 women and he started following them, or like walking with them or something. Not following them, like hunting them. But he got lost, and they sent a helicopter out to find him. And what he did is that it was really windy, so he went into a ravine. But before he went into a ravine, he hung his coat up on a branch that was like really high.
Yeah.
So they could see his coat and they could find where his body was gonna be.
Yeah.
Because he was expecting to die.
Yeah.
So they were expecting him. He was expecting to die fully, and he was just thinking like, I want them to find my dead body.
Yeah.
Which is such a crazy thing to think. Because he had a base.
Yeah.
he had no water.
Yeah.
He was off his meds, and he only had like a little bit of food on him. And when they found him, they said he looked like really drained, like emaciated, and they just started pumping IVs into him to try to like rehydrate him as quick as they could.
Yeah.
And then, so like I've never been in that sort of mentality. It was like, okay, I'm dead, like I'm dying. I want them to find my body. I never been in that mentality with that, like I am going to die. It's always been like I could die. I could die right now.
I've been in that mentality, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you're in that mentality, it's like, you know, it could happen, it couldn't happen. Like, I always think, like, what if you and me went into the cave and it just started, like, flooding and it was over, you know, like, it was just gonna flood and we were gonna die, you know, like, I'd be thinking, like, unless it was, like, we both knew at the same time, like, if I was thinking it, I wouldn't tell it to you, unless it's just, like, it got to the point where it was, like, you couldn't even hide the fact anymore. But I always think about shit like that, and I'm like, your brain just starts thinking, like, all right, well, what are you going to do before you die, right? Like, and I always think, like, well, just pray, you know?
That's funny. I wasn't thinking that. I should have.
Well, I always think, you know, just pray. Not necessarily pray to get saved, right? But just pray to die, basically.
Pray
like,
to get saved?
Like
salvation, nigga?
Well, I mean, like, not...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
yeah.
Pray for, like, the flooding to stop so you could survive.
Yeah.
Like, not praying for survival, not salvation.
Yeah, no, I'd just be like, you know, Jesus Christ, you know, I please pray that I have been a good soldier in my time here on earth. Yeah. You know, I'd be praying stuff like that.
I'd pray for graceful drowning. Like, maybe just take the pain away from me while I'm drowning.
I probably wouldn't even pray for that. I'd probably just be like, man, make it fucking hurt, kill me.
Well, you could do that yourself.
Well,
we have knives. We could kill ourselves.
True. Well, you know, like, you know how people's gym motivation is shit? Like, you know, I have the strength to get through this. I'm strong. I am confident. I'm the guy that's at the gym that's like, fucking kill me. I'm a piece of shit. Fucking, you know, abuse me. You know, that's my motivation.
Yeah. Destroy your body.
Yeah. Oh,
destruction comes before creation.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, okay, so an example of David Goggins having a type of self-destructive or self-harm tendency is David Goggins doesn't take rest days, and he says that on his what would be his days off, he just works out less hard, and then on his normal days he works out hard. And I think that's indicative of like self-harm, because if you don't take rest days, well then your body is always in a constant state of being like broken down.
Yeah, it's not recovering.
Yeah, and well, not only that, but if he did take a rest day, he'd probably look a lot better. Like his muscles would probably be a lot bigger, and he'd be more defined.
Yeah, but I don't think he cares about that. I think he knows that he's not the strongest. But I think mental toughness, he has to be up there.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: if you were gonna look for a guy that has like a real life One Punch Man physique, or looks like a real life One Punch Man, David Goggins, I think, is it.
I also wonder how strong he is, because it seems like he's not the type to ever work out for volume. So he must be like that type that's real lean and strong, which is what I want to be.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't know if his muscles are like that just because he does eventually recover, or because he's
he sleeps for one day and it's like leveling up all at once. It's like
yeah. I like resting and feeling that type of feeling. Like my muscles are getting bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, there was something about a movie I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I was gonna say at 8 I'm gonna have to chop it.
Let me show you some videos then.
Okay.